what the worst Kinder egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Open up your Kinder egg. Oh no, spiders!
You remember was it the Wonder Ball when we were kids that got like banned in the US or something? But it was something like the ball of chocolate that you cracked open and it had a prize inside of it. It's like that, except the prize is 1 billion spiders. Hello to all you spider fans and magic fans out there on the internet. It's your boys here at the MTG Thoughtcast. My name is Joseph, one of your hosts here, and across the screen or across your ears is my buddy and my brother, John. John, how you doing today, man?
I hope you don't have arachnophobia because it's nothing but spiders today.
Oh, that's it, baby. Yes, we are on our second episode of the Spider-Man release cycle. And today we're talking about some of the best spiders that you could be playing in your commander decks. You know, Ikoria brought us dinosaurs, and then going back to Tarkir brought dragons to the forefront of things. And what I expect is that people will be digging through some bins and digging through the new set to find some good spiders for your decks. There's a ton of more support. And spiders have just been good for a minute. So we're just going to go through, talk about our favorite spiders, the best ones to be putting in your decks, etc., etc. All of that and more is coming up on today's episode. But before we get into it, we have to give a shout out to sponsor of the show, Heavy Play. These are our friends in gaming accessories. They're our absolute favorites. It's modular, it's magnetic, they're excellently finished. It's so great. I love the curved sleeves. Everything they do is up our alley, and we're so grateful for their support to the show. They have given us a code to give you guys at checkout for 10% off. You can use code MTG Thoughtcast at checkout for 10% off of your first order, or just check that link down below. It's heavyplay.com/MTG Thoughtcast. Go get yourself some new gaming accessories and support these guys right here while you're at it. If you want to be part of all of the discussion about today's episode, maybe play some Commander games with us, jump on a stream with us, who knows? All of that you can find on our Discord. It's linked down below. It's the best place to find us and everything about the MTG Thoughtcast down below, totally free. While you're there, if you want to support the channel and be an absolute spider homie, just click all of the positive buttons down below. That's likes, comments, and subscribes. Shout out to everybody who's been doing that and interacting with the videos for the last little while. We see you guys and we appreciate y'all. Wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. I'm grateful to have an audience to give content to pass my content brain off to. So if you want to see us in your feeds more often, that's the easiest way to do it. Subscribe, get the notification on. I never tell people to do that. Likes, comments, all of those are lovely. We see you guys.
There's some new thing now with like hyping videos, I think. Have you seen that?
Oh, guys, hype the video up. Whatever that means. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode, shall we? John, let's talk about some spiders.
Woo! Spider time! Spider-Men, men of spiders, all of the above. So, like you were saying about, with most every set, there always is like a standout theme that when the new cards get printed in the set, everybody wants to jump on that hype bandwagon and start building some brand new deck. Like exactly like you had said, we had seen a variety of these types of like, this is not like a stock markets kind of thing, but like, you know, when a set introduces a theme idea that people want to build commander decks around, older cards sometimes tend to like go up in price. And then just even like ones that aren't even necessarily expensive, they just start getting scooped because everybody wants to build them, right? Definitely. We saw that with Tarkir. Everybody wanted to build dragons. Everybody wanted to do token strategies. Everybody wanted to do some graveyard reanimation because that was all like themes of Tarkir. Final Fantasy, we saw increases of stuff like equipments and like land support with like the towns and whatever, the instants and sorceries with things like for VV and the wizards and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And obviously now we've seen that as an attribute for the new Spider-Man set, because not only is like heroes and villains a theme of that, but in general, there are cards who are both Spider-Men and non-Spider hero like support pieces that all care about spiders.
If my statistic is right, I believe that there is over 60 new spiders being introduced as creatures in the Spider-Man set. So that will obviously, you just got more to work with. I always find myself, let's say I'm building like a Kindred deck. I always hate when I have to include changelings in it, especially the bad ones, because like the creature type isn't nearly as supported as it could be. So getting an entire set dedicated to basically a creature type is sick. So that's what we're going over today, is some some old spiders that work with newer spiders as well to build decks with spiders.
Yeah, with the amount of like, because the spiders are crossing all 5 colors, and specifically with this like spider theme Kindred related stuff, like you open up your possibilities more for especially white and blue. Spiders notoriously have kind of always just been confined to Jund.
Yes.
So now
and
with
mostly Golgari.
Yeah, mostly Golgari. You've got some red ones in here too, but generally speaking, now thanks to Spider-Man, you can do like you can have spider cards in the other colors that are like white and blue, and again a little bit more in red and such as well. You know,
that's awesome.
Like, you know, and like in specific, probably one of a big highlight one is probably going to be the Bant flip over, like Peter Parker, Amazing Spider-Man. You know, you could get possibly some legendary spiders or other legendary things and other Spider-Men from the main set itself who are within like the Azorius and the Selesnya colors.
Yes. Before we start talking about all of this, I have a question for you, John. This is my question of the day for you. Okay. I was thinking about this. If you were building a 5-color spider deck, are you picking Cosmic Spider-Man or are you still picking Morphon?
I think it's probably still just got to be Cosmic Spider-Man. I feel like
really?
Morphon. I mean, you of all people, you're actually the one who dissold me on Morphon. Morphon's a really bad Kindred commander.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It does cost. Yeah, you don't want to be ramping once you hit 7, man.
He's a great, like, I think Morphon still goes into the deck, I feel like, but not leading the charge anymore. Like, I think the hype that was around Morphon has since died out, that Morphon has now suited its place very well, included inside any 5-color Kindred themed decks. But leading the charge, unless you're doing something really janky or combo-y with the fact that there is the cost reduction, Morphon does not make a good 5-colored Kindred commander. But as we were talking about, Cosmic Spider-Man does make a very good Kindred leader.
He feels so much like he should have been printed with slivers as the creature type, but they just swapped it out for spider.
It really does remind me of a lot of like, especially like Sliver Legion, you know, where it's like it's granting a huge buff. For those, because this was a card we did not talk about last episode when we talked about Spider-Man previews, because I think this card got previewed the day we recorded that episode. So for those unfamiliar, Cosmic Spider-Man is from the new set. It's a mythic. It's white, blue, black, red, green for a legendary 5/5 spider human hero. Flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, other spiders you control gain flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. It's
a sliver. I'm telling you, this has been a backlogged sliver design. They're like, what if we just changed a few words on this and made it a spider commander now?
It's dope. It's very cool. And this would obviously be the most like open-ended generic one that if you wanted to play any of the spiders we're talking about today, plus some of the ones as part of the main set, here's your 5-color commander that works exactly for what you're looking to do.
Absolutely. Well, go ahead and take me away with your first pick here, John.
First pick. So we went through, like Joseph was talking about, we went through and found some fun, like, commander style card. I guess not even necessarily commander style. We found good spiders that if you were playing, say, an open-ended generic spider themed deck, either Cosmic Spider-Man or any of the other ones that were like a 3-color or 2-color or whatever, we just found some cool ones that you might not have seen before that could be worthwhile including into your decks. And like I was talking about, most all of these old ones are going to be within, especially Golgari and some Jund colors, but if you can make the colors fit and you can make the theme work, some of these cards are going to be really, really cool. And the first one I wanted to talk about is kind of like a 2-card pair set. This has always actually been one of my personal favorites for spiders. I've never really used this one much before, but digging through the research of this ability that this one does is just really cool. And this would be thematic for any of your commanders that do the web slinging ability.
Ooh.
This is a favorite spider of mine called Arachnis Spinner.
Ooh, I believe
originally for one of the core sets, I want to say it was like core 2013 or something like that. It's most recently been as an uncommon in Double Masters. I believe Double Masters 2022 edition. Arachnis Spinner is 5 and a green for a 5/7 spider. It has reach, as most spiders tend to, and an activated ability of tapping an untapped spider you control to search your graveyard and or your library for a card named Arachnis Web and put it onto the battlefield attached to a target creature. And if you search your library this way, you shuffle.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah. The card in question...
Obviously, you have to talk about Arachnis Web too, yeah.
Yep. The card in question is Arachnis Web. Arachnis Web is 2 and a green for an aura. It enchants a creature. The enchanted creature can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. But at the beginning of the end step, if the enchanted creature's power is 4 or greater, you destroy Arachnis Web.
Interesting. And then Arachnis Spinner can continue to find it from the graveyard.
Yep, specifically.
So
and not only
keep on whipping that thing around.
Not only can it tap itself to go and search for that Arachnis Web on the turn you play it, by the way, because that activated ability does not require like a tap, it's not a tap symbol in the ability. You can tap any untapped spider you have, including itself, and go rip right back either out of your graveyard or from your library, go and get the Arachnis Web, of which, again, you basically put a fog onto a creature, either if it's for just a turn, if that thing has a really high power and toughness, or you just get it to stick onto that creature long term if it's like, say, some really good utility creature that has a lower power, stuff like mana dorks and things that are drawing you cards or giving you like taps for cost reduction and things of that nature. The flexibility on that is sick. And you can also, like I was just talking about here, of the cost for web slinging does require you to return a tapped creature to your hand, even if your deck only has the one copy of the Arachnis Web in the deck. You could still activate the ability and fail to find.
This is true. Yeah, this just gives you a way. The hardest thing about something like web slinging is that it almost works like survival from Duskmourn, where like if you don't have a non-combat way to tap your spiders down, you have to attack with it and then make it through combat to be able to do it on the other side. That's the easiest way to tap your creatures down, is to attack with them. But finding things like Arachnis Spider and things like that, obviously there's like your Cryptolith Rites, your Elven Chorus, things like that just give your creatures mana abilities. Not only does that allow you to tap them and not worry about them dying in combat, but it also gives you an opportunity to web sling before going to combat. So if you have something that grants haste or something that has haste that you want to attack with the web slinging, you can do that prior to it your post-combat main phase, Yes, I love anything that comes in and immediately fetches out another card for it. There's also, because the Arachnis Web, you can attach it to something with power 4 or greater, even though it will destroy itself. This kind of gives you a way to make like soft infinite, like constellation triggers or any type of enchantress that like cares about enchantments entering the battlefield. This is a way that if you got 4 spiders, you could just whip it. You could tap one, it comes attached to something, it dies. You could whip, and then you can whip it back again on the same thing. Get your constellation, get your enchantress triggers, it dies again. Keep doing that, and then as the turn cycle goes around, you'll then untap all your spiders and can just do that again. Like, this is a really neat way to generate an engine for Constellation or Enchantress decks. This is really sick. I've never seen either of these cards either, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm. Outside of all of that the web is able to do, Spinner itself is a 5/7 with reach. That'll block everything.
Nothing's getting past that. That's amazing, dude. I love that. That's a great pick. I would love to give a quick, since we're talking about web slinging, I just want to give a quick honorable mention, since it doesn't exactly fit the prompt of what we're talking about today, but I also think it's sick. Web slinging obviously is the new mechanic that comes with a lot of the spiders from Spider-Man. So if you're playing a deck where you're playing a lot of these Spider-Men, and especially if you're playing Peter Parker, where it's a ton of these legendary spiders that you, like I said, need to find a way to tap them in order to start the web slinging chains. I was digging back through and I found Obelisk of Erd. This is a really sweet card, not only just for Kindred decks in general, but for this one specifically. So it's 6 generic mana for an artifact with Convoke, which is amazing here because your creatures can help cast the spell. Each creature you tap while casting the spell pays for 1 generic. So this could come down entirely free if you have 6 creatures in play. Tap them all down. As Obelisk of Erd enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Obviously, in this case, you're going to choose Spider, and then creatures you control of the chosen type get +2/+2. So this just does everything that your like web slinging spider decks want to do. I don't want to like harp on that too much, but that was just like a sweet synergy that I found as I was digging through for this episode. So that's kind of my pick for if you're going to build this and you want some like sweet spicy touch in it. This is Obelisk of Erd for you. If we're talking about sweet spiders for a commander deck or things that make spiders for a commander deck, I want to talk about one of my favorite planeswalkers that's ever been printed. This is Lolth Spider Queen. It is unfortunately not a spider type, but as you'll see, it helps. So it's 3 black and a black for a legendary planeswalker, Lolth. This is from the Dungeons and Dragons set. It's 4 loyalty. Its static ability is whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth. Sweet. Its 0 ability is you draw a card and lose a life. Sick. Love that.
Easy.
-3. What are we doing, John? We're making 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach. So these are scary spiders that can block and need 2 things to block them if they attack. And then if they die, you get loyalty counters back onto Lolth. So I think one of my favorite things that's in the spider identity as a creature type is going wide with spiders. Like I said, Obelisk of Erd makes that amazing. It's even great here because you're making 2 tokens at once. So making 2 of these. And then its ultimate for Lolth is you get an emblem with whenever an opponent is dealt combat damage by 1 or more creatures you control. If that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference. So you can hit somebody with these 2/1 spiders with menace, and they take 8 damage.
Minimum, yep.
Or yeah, exactly. If you find a 1, if you have a 1/1 flyer, or you have your changeling outcast, which is a spider that's unblockable, it would, instead of hitting for 1, that gets boosted up to hitting for 8. So Lolth is just excellent in creature decks. I actually really like it as a control win condition as well. Just being able to like generate card advantage from it, and then as your stuff is dying, you're making more loyalty counters on this. You also you can play this into a board wipe when you have a board full of stuff, and then just basically immediately ultimate Lolth. So yeah. I really like this one. It deals with spiders. It makes spiders. It makes your spiders hit for more and generates card advantage as you're going along. So Lolth is a sweet spider themed card.
The Spider Woman.
That's right.
I see what you did.
This
no,
is
not really.
Gwenum? Nope.
She's a Drider, actually, but it's all good.
I see.
No, I mean, Lolth is really sick because, like, if you take a far back zoom of spiders and magic and kind of identify, like, what do spiders kind of as a whole share as far as a common theme is concerned, spiders typically have the ability to block flyers, or they care about either themselves or other creatures you control dying. And Lolth cares about both of those things. You make the spiders that have the reach, and you get rewarded for when they potentially die because, like, they want to block the little flyers and things like that.
Exactly. So
it's just on brand for spiders as a whole. I love it.
Definitely. Spiders are not afraid to die, I would say, across the board. Even like you're talking about like Spectacular Spider-Man. This is the one that has all the costume changes. It sacrifices itself to give all of your stuff hexproof and indestructible. Like, this is a theme that you can see across spiders, both in Marvel Universe and in the Magic Universe, that the crossover of that is Lolth Spider Queen.
Yeah. that in turn then leads to talk about some spiders and spider related cards that would potentially care about your number of creatures or spiders that you have in your graveyard.
Ooh, baby.
And this leads me to Rot Widow Pack from the original Modern Horizons.
Unbelievable card.
2 black and a green for a 2/4 spider with reach, with an activated ability of 3 black and a green, and exiling a creature card from your graveyard, creating a 1/2 green spider creature token with reach. Then each opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control.
Dude, that is a sick ability. I love that. This reminds me of some of the like Magic Origins elves, where like they were green and black and cared about how many you had and dealing damage.
Shaman
this
of
is like
the pack. Yep.
Yeah, this is like the graveyard equivalent of that. It's just like lose 1 billion life because I control 1 billion spiders.
Yeah, so on its face value, what this card is looking to do, you have an activated ability that is kind of like a repeat version of the card Spider Spawning, while also granting you some of the life loss capabilities that Ishkana Graph Widow is able to do. You kind of get the two of those meshed together. Not exactly 1-to-1. Both of those individual cards previously have their own merits and uses to them, but you know, if you can just keep a flow of at least 1 relevant creature that you're okay with exiling away to the Rot Widow in and of itself, you make 3, 4, 5 spiders each activation, and that is making each opponent lose that amount of life, which obviously counts itself as well, by the way. The card is a spider, so however many spider tokens it creates from its activated ability, the life loss is going to be at minimum that amount of tokens you make plus itself. And then any other spiders you're sitting on.
Stupid good. This is an excellent one. I was on my list to talk about as well. So we both agree that Rot Widow Pack is an excellent spider. Would you be playing this?
Honorary shout out right there. Just 2 spider spawning itself, by the way. Just the card.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's worth talking about as well while we're here. Is it's 4 and a green for a sorcery. This was from the original Innistrad, and those who drafted that set understand how broken this card is. This is 4 and a green for.
You were either playing spider spawning or you were playing travel preparations.
100%.
There was no in between.
5 mana for a sorcery that just makes a 1/2 green spider with reach for each creature card in your graveyard, and then it's got flashback for 6 and a black. So you're gonna at the end of this card's lifespan in your game, it will have made 2 1/2 green spiders with reach for each creature in your graveyard. Again, talking about how wide the spiders can go. It just feels like you're literally cracking open a spider egg and just they're all pouring out from inside. So this is like a sick way to take a spider deck.
Ugh, what the worst Kinder Egg.
Yeah, exactly.
Open up your Kinder Egg. Oh no, spiders!
You remember was it the Wonder Ball when we were kids that got like banned in the US or something? But it was something like the ball of chocolate that you cracked open and it had a prize inside of it. It's like that, except the prize is 1 billion spiders. Oh man. Well, you mentioned Ishkana as well, which was one I was also going to mention, but it's, like you said, very similar to spider spawning. Ishkana is a spider for 5 mana. It's a 3/5 with reach. When it enters, if you have Delirium, which is 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, it makes 3 1/2 green spiders with reach. And then for 6 and a black, also a callback to, I realize now Ishkana is a callback to spider spawning because it's got the same mana costs on it. 6 and a black, target opponent loses 1 life for each spider you control. I think this one's fine. I'm not necessarily excited about playing this one because it's target opponent and not all opponents.
Yeah.
Again, target opponent in a 4-player format is not incredible. It's
at least got the merit. It was like one of the original like spider kindred commanders. Like there was really nothing else good to use as the leader of your spider kindred deck other than Ishkana for a long while.
Exactly. John, do you know, once we've gone wide with all these spiders, do you know how we can do an isometric board wipe in our spider deck here, now that we've made 1 billion spiders?
That smells like Swarmyard Massacre to me.
It's Swarmyard Massacre. This card is insane and has only gotten so much better because of the Spider-Man set. So this is 3 black and a black for a sorcery. You create 2 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. So Ignore that part. It's fine. You're not obviously not spidery yet. Then each creature that isn't an insect, rat, spider, or squirrel gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each spider, insect, rat, or squirrel you control. This is nuts, dude. So like with all of the spectacular Spider-Mans and all of the new legendary spiders that are in the Spider-Man set, those all count towards this and don't get affected by it. So if you've got, let's say you even have 3 or 4 spiders in play. You've got your, Lolth has already made a few spiders. You've got your Spectacular Spider-Man. You're playing the Cosmic Spider-Man. All of these. Swarmyard Massacre, not only does it make 2 squirrels, which the reason it does that is it adds 2 to whatever the cost that you already have is, because those squirrels will count toward your count for, the swarm. If you got 4 of them, this is 5 mana. Everything that you don't control gets -6/-6. Which is an excellent version of a board wipe because it gets around Indestructible. It gets around Shroud. It gets around, there's a million things that it gets around that people think that they're safe behind. That as the game goes on, let's say you've got 10 spiders, this just wins the game because you get to keep all of your stuff because your spiders are not affected by this. And the 2 squirrels that come in are also not affected by it. And this card is obviously a callback to the land Swarmyard, which we also need to talk about. Swarmyard is a land that taps for a colorless mana, or you can tap it to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, or squirrel. So this is just like a grouping of like swarm-related creatures that they've decided exist in a grouping together. And Swarmyard is an excellent include in any deck, especially if you have one of the Spider-Mans as your commander. This is an auto include because then you have a land that just says tap to regenerate my commander, and that's broken.
Right. Everyone's going to want to kill this legendary because of the effect that it does. It's a long-term favorite of mine, Thantis the Warweaver.
Oh, what a great one, dude. Oh, Forced Combat. Let's go.
Forced Combat. Thantis has also kind of been one of the go-to ones for, I guess, if you wanted to play Spider Tribal, just because it was a spider legendary in and of itself, but it takes the idea in a completely different direction. 3 and Jund for a legendary 5/5 spider with Vigilance Reach. All creatures attack each combat if able. That is battlefield wide. So your creatures have to go to combat, and all of your opponent's creatures have to go to combat. But whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, you put a +1/+1 counter on Thantis, which obviously because Thantis has Vigilance, he's able to still, just because he forces combat on himself as well. That's how his ability is worded. But because he's got Vigilance and Reach, he's free to go swinging into combat, and then anything that would be coming back at you, Thantis gets bigger for it. For each creature, you have 3 creatures coming at you, Thantis gets 3 counters. It's not whenever 1 or more creatures attack you. He gets a counter.
Yes.
For everything coming your way.
Joseph's commander philosophy 2025 is that 6 mana commanders are just pure aura points. I love super expensive commanders that just like come in and dominate the game. Like they warp the game around themselves. Like I've been a long time enjoyer of Tivit, Seller of Secrets. I think that he is the OG aura points, and Thantis is right up there with it, where you also are building your deck around this. So again, you've included your Cryptolith Rites, you've included your Elven Choruses, things like that, your Arachnus Weaver, the spider that makes the web, things like that allow you to tap spiders so that things that you don't want to go to combat don't have to. You can just tap those things down, which also leads into how good web slinging is with Thantis, because you're, tapping the things down you want to, you're manipulating your own creatures in that way,
or you're just going to combat. You had just mentioned
100%.
that web slinging works perfectly fine as a second main phase casting cost, right?
Yeah,
and Thantis is going to be more than anything making sure that not only do your creatures have to go to combat, but generally speaking, everything else that your opponents control are going to be tapped down as well because they went to combat too. So this opens the gate for you to go and be more aggressive with your web slinging cards.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dude, I want to play this with like Trove of Temptation and just go like, come at me, bro. Come at me.
Dude, I love Trove of
Baby,
Temptation.
won't you come my way? What's sick too with Thantis and other spiders, if we're like turning Thantis into this like sweet spider themed deck now, so many of the spiders have Death Touch. Like you've got your, what's it called? John, hit me with it. It's 2 mana for like a 1/2 with reach and Death Touch.
Like Ambush Spider?
Yeah, like you're thinking of Ambush Snake. Deadly Recluse, that's what it is. You've got stuff like that, so you can find a way to tap or untap it or whatever, or if you give it Vigilance or some way around that you are able to leave that back, and you're sitting behind a Trove of Temptation, and your Thantis is making everyone's stuff attack, and you're just like, please come at me. And you've got your Swarm Yard, so even if you have to block with something and it like would die, you can just regenerate it instead. Like, this is a sweet, sweet deck that the Spider-Man set has made so much better.
Imagine playing Thantis inside the 99 of the Cosmic Spider that we were just talking about. Now your spiders like Thantis are now gaining the First Strike and Lifelink and things of that nature. Like, that stupid?
Lifelink, I think, is one of the better abilities on the Cosmic Spider-Man there for this, because you're attacking with a billion things, and you're gonna like keep your life total super stable, so that even if the things that are attacking you are coming in and hitting you, you're just on your next turn going to gain all that life back. Super, super sweet. I love Thantis so much. Let's say you want to give all of your spiders Death Touch. We have not talked about this yet, and we obviously have to. This is Shelob, Child of Ungoliant. This is from the Lord of the Rings set. Talking about 6 mana cards. Oh, baby. This is a 6 mana. It's 4 black and a green for an 8/8 Spider Demon. So those stats are crazy to begin with.
It's got Death Touch. Spider.
Thick spider, dude. It's got Death Touch and Ward 2, our favorite keyword. And guess what? It gives other spiders you control Death Touch and Ward 2. So this is protection and Death Touch for your entire board of spiders. And then it has this insanely good ability of whenever another creature dealt damage this turn by a spider you control dies, create a token that's a copy of that creature, except it's a food artifact and loses all other card types. So you're swinging in with something. I block it with my Deadly Recluse or one of my other spiders that now has Death Touch because of Shelob. Your creature dies. It still goes to the graveyard. Don't get me wrong. I just make a food that has its text box. Just comes in. So if you've got, even if it's a Reclamation Sage or something that you've forced into combat with Thantis, I blocked it with Shelob, it dies, it comes back. That food, as it enters, has the ETB effect of the Reclamation Sage, and then you get its ETB. And I would say that's the floor of what Shelob does. Yeah. Obviously, if you kill somebody's commander with this, you just get a copy of their commander. That's food. And it's nuts. So this is so sick. There's also ways to, like, if we're getting like real, like, cheesy Johnny with it, Shelob does not care that it's your opponent's creatures that are dying. So if you have like fight spells and you want to like fight one of your spiders into something else so that it dies, it kind of turns one of your creatures into a token version of itself, which if you play Saw in half, you know how strong that is. So if you've got anything that's populating or making copies of tokens, or like when a food enters, you make another food or whatever, like Shelob is just an excellent way to kind of chain these really weird combo-y turns together on your own side, and then just sits there and makes you copies of your opponent's creatures as they're attacking into you, or even if it works aggressively as well. Like if you're attacking and they have to block something, like if they chump block, you just still get a copy of it. And not to mention the fact that even if you're making copies of like tokens, things that are vanilla creatures, it still comes in as food, and then that gives you the opportunity to pay 2, sack it, and gain 3 life. You just eat it. Again, talking about stabilizing your life total as a resource in the game like this. Aggressive decks, as you're attacking, you always have to balance, like, am I keeping creatures back to block? Am I not? What's my life total at? All those things. And having anything that gains life, including food, is just an excellent way to balance the books for that. So I would be stoked to throw a little Shelob in these spider decks.
Yeah. Have you ever seen this on Arena when it makes a food copy of something with flying and the food is just like hovering
because the food has flying.
Just a little wings on the,
for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Let's say you're looking to try to make as many food copies as using Shelob in your deck as well, because Shelob is granting Death Touch to your spiders. You need a spider that is able to shoot down creatures on repeat. Let me introduce you to one of the all-time classics of Spider Kindred, Silk Lash Spider.
Okay.
Silk Lash Spider is 3 and double green for a 2/7 spider with reach and an activated ability of X and double green to have it deal X damage to each creature with flying.
Ease.
Have you ever wanted Windstorm on repeat? Now you do. Also on a blocker that blocks everything with flying. Nothing is going to survive with flying if you play Silk Lash Spider.
No. And dude, I know you're talking about Silk Lash Spider, and we've already talked about Shelob, but can we talk about how insane this is with Shelob? Giving it
That's
Death
what I was
Touch?
just saying. Yep, that's what I just said. Yeah, you get the Shelob down or give this Death Touch, and you just throw 1 mana into that activated ability. Anything else on the board, granted, hits your board. So, like, this is a spider that actually during your combat is... But I guess that's the cool thing with Cosmic Spider-Man is that he grants those keywords abilities at your combat. So those spiders that potentially get picked up in the air, like, does Cosmic give flying? I don't remember.
It does.
I want to say it does. Yeah. So
he also has flying naturally. So that's...
You do... Yeah, so there can be a little bit of non-bow there.
If you've got Shelob down, you get a food version of Cosmic Spider from this, which still has all... You have a food that grants all of those abilities to your spiders.
Yep. I'm just saying,
stupid.
Silk Lash was one of the first, let's call it, good spiders from back in the day, because we're skimming over a lot of sort of like the uncommon and common draft chaff
some
spiders.
Bad ones, dude.
There are still some good ones. Don't get me wrong. There was actually like a commander, like a commons one that I wanted to bring up just because of its overall just like kind of power that it has behind it. It's called Sky Snare Spider. It is just simply a 4 and double green for a 6/6 spider with vigilance and reach. Kind of very similar to Thantis. It's just a big boy. That's useful in and of itself, but we're just kind of as a whole skimming over a lot of these. If you have some of these that you do like especially the ones that Joseph was saying, there's like the Deadly Recluse and some of these other ones that have like Death Touch and whatever, play them if you absolutely want to. But just know going into this that a lot of your sort of like non-token spiders, a very large portion of them within especially the Golgari colors are just kind of what you would call draft chaff.
Yes, I would say this is like the average of what you've like needed to play over the last little bit. But like, let's talk about how the difference between that and Spider Rex Daring Dino. Also, 6 mana for a 6/6. It's got reach. It replaces that vigilance with trample and ward 2. So like you have all of these new options with some unbelievable art as well. let's take a moment for the on Earth 66 Pitarker. It's so sick, dude. With Gur power comes grass ability. Stupid, dude.
It's so silly.
Oh man. Well, I know we've talked about some excellent like payoff spiders. I think it's time that we talk about how are we getting to some of the mana for these spiders, and it's time for me to talk about the creepiest little boy. This is Twitching Doll. Twitching Doll, I actually, until this episode, forgot that it itself is a spider. I thought it was just a toy, but it's a spider toy. Twitching Doll is 1 and a green for a 2/2 artifact creature. It's a spider toy. You can tap it for 1 mana of any color, and you put a nest counter on Twitching Doll. And then later in the game, you can tap it and sacrifice Twitching Doll to make a 2/2 green spider token with reach for each counter on Twitching Doll. Mind you, that's not each nest counter on Twitching Doll. So if you just load this thing up with a bunch of +1/+1 counters and then sacrifice it, it tracks for those. This card's insane. I think it's severely underplayed even in your average commander deck that doesn't care about spiders. Just as this comes in on 2, starts doing its thing, which its thing is add a mana of any color. It's a 2-mana rock. It's like Ornithopter of Paradise, just in a green deck. So you're doing that. You're tapping it. Every time that you tap it for mana, it's just throwing a nest counter onto itself. And then let's say after you've used it 4 times, you're like, I'm good on mana at this point. We've ramped, we've done all the things. You can just sacrifice it and make 4. You can make 8 power of spiders just on its own that goes super wide. So I think this is great in go tall decks because you want to put a bunch of +1/+1 counters on it. This is good in go wide decks because it makes a bunch of spiders. It's good in your 5-color spider deck because it not only is a spider itself, but it makes a mana of any color, so it helps fix you towards getting to your. This helps you put down Cosmic Spider-Man on turn 4 as a spider itself, and then as the game goes on, just continues to get its counters. There's obviously plenty of ways that spiders put +1/+1 counters on other things. This is a sick card.
Yeah, I'm thinking like the Miles one, the double-faced one from
Oh
that
my
one.
God, yes, that doubles all the types of counters. Yeah, that doubles nest counters on this. And then you throw some +1/+1 counters, and then you make a billion more spiders, and you just throw counters across those, and then double all of those. I still stand by, I think that Miles Morales is the best of like the spider commanders now, because he's Bant, right?
He's Naya.
Naya, that's right. Yeah, so you get access to, it sucks that you don't get the black ones, which again, like, I think we're just circling back around to Cosmic Spider-Man being like an amazing spider commander, because you get access to all of these sweet old Golgari spiders, plus you get to play Miles Morales in that deck to make him into the spider side of it, and then attack with it, and not even attack with him, you just attack, period. And
attack
then
in general,
double all of the counters on all of your spiders and legendary creatures, so it tracks across everything. Twitching Doll is obviously an insane part of that deck, and you should be playing it more often, just in general commander decks.
All right, now how about this stupid play? We're in the Miles deck here that cares about the spiders and putting counters onto them. You've done a few turns now of popping several amounts of counters on your Twitching Doll. And now in this turn, before you've cast anything else, you do the tap sacrifice. Let's say you pop out 8, 9 spider tokens, right?
Not unreasonable. That's a good game for you, but
what would be the spider that you would then want to follow it up to make sure all of those spiders have counters on them for when you go swinging with Miles, that they all get doubled up? This is going to be one of the last one I would like to talk about then is another all-time favorite spider of mine that, again, I've been brewing with a little bit because I've got this like Miles build off to the side over here for something special we're cooking up.
Ooh.
This is from the original Commander Legends, Sweet Gum Recluse.
Yeah, dude.
For 4 and double green, you get a 0/3 spider with Flash, Reach, and Cascade. Cascade, those unfamiliar, you if a spell has Cascade, you will reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card that has mana value less than the spell that you had cast. So in the case of Sweet Gum Recluse, it costs 6. The first thing you find that costs 5 or less, you'll get to cast that for free. Notable that you do the Cascade part on this card first, because it'll make sure that if that thing you Cascade into is a creature, it will synergize with the bottom half of what this card does. Sweet Gum then says that when it enters the battlefield, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on each of any number of target creatures that entered the battlefield this turn.
It's so dumb.
So obviously the floor, what you're looking at here is you cast this for 6. It maybe finds a creature that costs 5 or less. That creature enters and resolves before the Sweet Gum does. And then Sweet Gum comes in and puts not only 3 counters on itself because it entered the battlefield that turn, but it also, if you had that creature come in from the Cascade, it will get its counters. And then, like, say, back to the Twitching Doll, like I said, you Twitching Doll in your main phase before casting the Recluse, all of those 2/2 tokens came into the battlefield that turn.
Other 5/5s. And then Miles turns them into 8/8s.
10/10s.
Yeah.
Or 8/8s. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's stupid. I love this. And then even outside of the cascade value that this has, also with flash as well, by the way. So I understand that like holding up 6 mana off turn can sometimes be a little tough to do, but remember, you get 2 spells out of this for holding this up for instant speed. So you could go like end step of somebody else's turn, flash this, you'll get another creature in for free, and then the sweet gum comes in. Also as a surprise blocker, if worst case scenario, they don't see that coming, you just flash that in. But here's outside of everything else is that even if you don't get future cascade value off the card itself, the putting 1/1 counters on creatures that enter the battlefield that turn, that is just on an enters the battlefield trigger on Sweet Gum itself. So if you reanimate it or blink it, if you're blinking a bunch of other things, counters on you, counters on you, counters on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes
so
it
good.
so
if you
tricky.
Web slinging, tap it, you attack with it, you web slinging it back to your hand, you get to keep doing it.
Yep.
Dude, that's goofy. I love it. It's also called Sweet Gum Recluse.
I love it. It's so good.
It's got some sweet gums. Do you want me to take us away with our last pick of the afternoon here, John?
Hit me. What's a good spider to round out our spider deck?
Well, this is not a spider. It's also not a creature, but it does make spiders. So I'm going to count it. Similar to Lolth. So this is, honestly, this is one of my favorite cards of all time. I love this card so much. It's pocket sand. It's perfect. Arachnogenesis is 2 and a green.
Yeah.
It's an instant. It's so simple, dude. It's just create X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spiders. So your spiders get to block and deal damage. Anything else that's attacking does not deal damage. So you can either just let those go through. They won't hit you because they don't deal damage because they're fogged, or you can, block and your spiders won't die and you can deal damage. So you basically can pick off like the best 1 or 2 things that are attacking you. Obviously, this is nuts with things like Thantis that like forces attacks, like make sure everything's attacking you, getting counters on things. Then you just like slam Arachnogenesis and you're like, oh, also I've got another 6 mana. Here's the Sweet Gum Recluse with Flash and Cascade. And they're all are now 4/5 spiders that have all, nothing attacking me is dealing damage. I was talking earlier about balancing your life total in an aggressive deck, and Arachnogenesis is one of the most perfect ways that you can just go, I don't care about leaving blockers back. Like, this is the type of card that allows you to just completely unabashedly attack your opponents and not worry about what's coming back. You see the same thing with what's the one that makes Inklings? What's it called?
Ink Shield.
Yeah, this is like Ink Shield, except it's 3 mana. Obviously, it doesn't make 2/1 flyers; those are stronger. But in your spider deck, this is better than Ink Shield. Also, run Ink Shield. Who cares? Like, do them both. We're playing a 5-color Cosmic Spider-Man deck. Sure, Inklings and spiders, like it's perfect.
Yeah,
because they're comics, right? And that's the ink that draws them. It's the Ink Shield. See,
you can get Arachnogenesis is on the bonus sheet for Spider-Man. You can check out this version here.
Whoa, that one, John? You mean this one right here?
That one. It's that really iconic Todd McFarlane art, like in the web right there. It's very cool
for sure, dude. Those are some sweet cards. The bonus sheet. Everything they've been doing with all the alt arts. I know you initially weren't super sold on the Spider-Man set, and I feel like as soon as the art and the theming started coming out for it, you're like, yeah, man, I'm kind of in on this.
There are definitely some hits in there. And obviously, as people are going to be opening up and getting the spiders from this, you're going to be wanting to find some of these spiders that we had talked about today. But we now would like to turn that to you do you have a favorite spider from the game? And if you enjoy this kind of like episode that we have done today, like we can cover all kinds of other, I've really been brewing of this idea. What do you think of maybe we turn this, like, let's do when we have Avatar in a little while, maybe we do an episode like this for allies. Who wants to see that?
I'm in. Yeah, dude, I'm solid.
Yeah, we should do that.
That sounds great.
Let us know down below of your favorite spider from Magic. You can leave that in the comments down below, along with likes and subscribes and shares and all that fun jazz. Everything that makes the robots really happy. The robot spiders.
That's right. What's your favorite, as we exit interview here, what's your favorite non-Magic spider?
Like what do you mean? Like from Spider-Man the set?
Just like in real life. Like, what's your favorite spider?
I don't know if I even have a favorite spider. I don't know. I don't really like spiders that much.
Mine is Charlotte from Charlotte's Web. Thanks for watching
you meant like
the MTG Thoughtcast.
Excellent.
This has been the MTG Thoughtcast. I hope that you were not playing a drinking game for every time that we said spider in this episode. Thanks for sticking around if you made it this far. We really appreciate you. Let us know in the comments if you like this video. Give us likes, subscribes, all the goodies. Join our Discord. We talked about all of it at the intro. Shout out to you guys for being here. Shout out to you for sticking around till the end. And we'll see you next time here on the MTG Thoughtcast.